It was a sad, sad, sad day for the wrestling world and for sports entertainment that Daniel Bryan had to retire due to medical reasonings that were kind of vague in how he said it. It was due to concussion reasons, though now they're saying like his brain wasn't okay as he thought, despite being cleared by four other outside outside doctors that weren't WWE. He never really went into detail on that, so we're not given the full story or the context of what he meant by that. Um, I initially was gonna make the video yesterday, this video yesterday, but I decided to skip to see how what goes down on Raw because part of me most likely was in denial of that and wanted to think, oh, this is just a swerve. Like, why would he announce it on Twitter? Like, Mark Henry did the same thing. Like, they're gonna pull a Mark Henry on everybody, and a lot of people were in denial. I was in denial of Daniel Bryan forced to retire. Like I couldn't picture it so soon. It's like he had debated in in WWE back in 2010. 6 years later, his career is cut short, and he's like, what? He's like 30, like 34, 35 soon this year. He could like go on for another 4 years if he was still healthy. So yeah, like I was in denial of it. A lot of people were in denial. Like everyone was hoping, like, oh, is he gonna turn heel? Mark Henry swerve us all? Oh, is someone gonna interfere and cut the celebration short? Oh, is the Undertaker gonna show up and challenge Bryan to a match at WrestleMania? Like I was hearing all this, but the more and more I looked at it, the more and more I thought, yeah, this is not fake. This is not storyline. As much as WWE likes to pull storylines like Mark Henry up their asses, and it's no offense. Oh man, um, it was sad. Like I would like when I was play. I was like when I was then I before I got the news, I was playing WWE 2K16 on my Xbox One, playing as AJ Styles against Dean Ambrose, playing AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose, and preparing it to upload on YouTube. Then after I had finished recording, I had gotten a notification on my phone saying Daniel Bryan is forced to retire, and I was shocked beyond belief. Like I was in denial of it. Like, oh, this is just a swerve to get cheap ratings grab. Like it's not as compelling as Mark Henry's because it's using Daniel Bryan. But then later on, I started seeing this, and yeah, this is not a fake storyline. Like, this is real, unfortunately. Like, reports came out that, oh yeah, this is 100% legit. Like, even Dave Meltzer says legit. And Wrestling Rumors says legit. Wrestling Incorporated says legit. And like part of me was still thinking it may be a swerve because Daniel Bryan's gonna show up on ESPN tomorrow night, which is tonight. And no, no, they didn't. It wasn't a swerve, everybody. It was 100% real, and fans were crying, people were crying. I was on the verge of crying. Um, like it was a shocking moment. Like to say goodbye like that. Like he had just came on returning from neck injury and then he has to go again, this time for good due to concussions. And Daniel Bryan came out one last time with the yes chants and he celebrated with the fans, did a that's what she said joke. And then even gave a plug to a charity event. Like I'm thinking, like, wait a second, this is your moment. This is your moment to take in one last breath, and you're plugging in charity events over your own retirement speech. Like he's so humble. He's so very, very humble. And like, where they would make wigs for kids who suffer from cancer, and he shaved his hair and beard because of it. And I was like, you're gonna sell a charity event on your retirement? Like, can this guy not get any more humble and likable? Like, Yeah, and there was tweeting going all over the place. Thank you, Daniel Bryan. Triple H admitting that he's an A+ player. Vince McMahon, as much as I don't like him because I'm pretty certain he's not, because I'm pretty certain he's senile still. And I'm pretty certain he didn't write that Twitter post as much as he likes to say he does, because a lot of people say he doesn't believe in the internet. But moving on from that, I'm not going to do as much Vince bashing or Cena bashing as I want to, since Cena talked about this, and I was not interested in Cena's tweets since I don't believe in him anymore, and I refuse to even deal with him. Um, Daniel Bryan was a lot of things. He was mostly grateful and humble for his wrestling career. Like, he would say, he was like Terry Funk. He was like the Undertaker, where they were given these opportunities to say, "Hey, do you want this? You want this? You want this?" And no, they instead say, "Hey, can I work with that guy? I think I can make him look strong. Oh, I want to work with that guy. I think I can make something special out of him. Oh, I want to work with that guy. Maybe I can make him $1 million." And they certainly were like that. Like Daniel Bryan, like he could have main event WrestleMania 2 years in a row, but instead decided. And I have reasons to believe Daniel Bryan does have some say with the creative team when it comes, since the fan uproar of 2013 during the height of the Yes movement before its inevitable decline. Um, it just felt perfect. Like Daniel Bryan could have found a way to get that match with Brock Lesnar, even though I said that was a dangerous idea for a variety of reasons. But no, he instead said, "You know what? Give the run to Roman. Like, give it to him. Give it to anybody. Like I had my moment, and that's what I certainly kept believing. Like he had his big moment. Like I don't think it will be a moment ever replicated again with an underdog story like that ever again." And well, man. He said he was grateful for everything in the wrestling industry, for the fans. And however, I will point out the one part in his retirement speech, other than him having to retire, that I didn't like is how he said WWE doesn't owe us anything. And I just couldn't help but say to myself, well, they owe us an apology for thinking we're idiots. They owe us an apology for destroying Roman Reigns. They owe us an apology for not pushing these guys. They're owing us an apology for Cena's charity promos, where he just basically says, "I do charity work, please love me." Whereas Daniel Bryan, he just said, "You know what, I'll just do it." Like, I could complain, I could be like CM Punk, complain about it, say no, but you know what, I want to work with these guys, and I really think like I can do the best. And like, he even wanted to work with Dolph Ziggler at WrestleMania 31, then he wanted to work with Brock Lesnar, even though he could have gotten that opportunity, and also got it. But yeah, um, and back and he kept saying how he felt like Superman going through the ropes. Like if he's saying he's going through Superman like that and not through like what happened at WrestleMania 30, where he got out of the medical gunnery and rushed back into the ring to beat Batista to win the world title. Um, yeah, that's saying something. So it was it was so surreal. Like, it was sad. It was depressing. It was happy. I was feeling so many things: sad, happy, angry that this is happening. And Daniel Bryan vaguely talked about his reasoning for retiring, like he said because of concussions, and said that his brain was not as okay as he thought. And like, wait a second, that doesn't actually make sense. Like, he most likely did go to very trained professionals who know their craft and know what they have to do. How did they not find this? If they cleared him 4 times, like, that doesn't make any sense. And part of me was thinking prior to the retirement promo, like, wait, is he retiring from wrestling as a whole, or is he retiring from WWE? Because he's doing the same thing AJ Lee did to me. Like AJ Lee, she wanted out of her contract, and the only way she could do that was retire from wrestling as a whole. Was Daniel Bryan trying to do the same thing because he wants to wrestle again? Because WWE doctors won't clear him for reasons I believe it's because management doesn't like him and they wanted to bribe the doctors not to clear him. But I put aside my conspiracy theories and my thoughts that there's something fishy going on was because it was a moment that cannot be replicated, like till the next retirement happens, that comes out of nowhere, like Edge, like a lot of wrestlers, like McFoley, like you know, I don't think McFoley really had a retirement speech. He had a retirement match multiple times, and he never got that proper send off. He just had to stop. So I can't really say that to an extent. Like McFoley never got a chance to close the door himself. He was forced to. Daniel Bryan, he kind of got a chance to close the door himself since he got a chance to say what he wanted, to say everything to get out of his chest, to get it out of him, out of his system. And like he's done a lot of things. He even broke the fourth wall with Kane, and like I still am not a huge fan of Team Hell No. Like, I didn't like what they did with Kane. I would get to that to another video maybe, but I just didn't like it. If I make another video about it, I'll talk about it. But right now, this is about Bryan. Um, like when I heard this, I was listening to the song by when HBK first had to retire, saying "Tell Me a Lie," and then I get this notification, especially when I was doing the wrestling match on WWE 2K16 on my computer. Um, yeah, I saw that, and yeah, that and a part of me wanted to just say, "Please tell me this is a huge fabricated storyline. Like this has to be some form of storyline." And the reason why, like I said with my with my previous thoughts minutes ago, where I said that there was something fishy, Bryan also tried to give a release notice and also try to get out of his contract, and this most likely was the only way. But I put aside my conspiracy theories to focus on Daniel Bryan and celebrating his career, and WWE certainly did that. So that was actually one thing they did logical. Like, okay, they managed to make it surreal, so memorable, gave us the highlights of his WWE run. I wish they could have shown his time in Ring of Honor. Like, I know they can't get the footage, even though they have gotten footage from them before. So it would have been more better if they added also his debut in wrestling as a whole and along with this, and like they had Daniel Bryan be the focus of Monday Night Raw as opposed to Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns. In fact, Roman Reigns was really on the side. And during Daniel Bryan's speech, I could see comments on the internet saying, "Please don't go. I can't believe this is happening." And one person had to be the dick of the group, pretty much. He just says, "Oh my God, can Bo Dallas come out here and please tell Bryan to shut up?" And I'm like, oh dear God, you just said that. Okay, you don't have to like Daniel Bryan, but can you please not give your negativity over this retirement speech? Like, dude. And others were saying, and the other people on the internet that were saying, "Oh, that promo made Roman Reigns look strong," and I was like, "Really? That you're gonna make a joke about how much you hate Roman Reigns, even though he did not talk about him whatsoever, and you're gonna just do the 'I hate Reigns' jokes," and really in the middle of this, like, you are determined to ruin this surreal moment, to ruin this sad moment with a joke like that. Like, and some were saying, why couldn't it be Cena? Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything more about that. Um, so now the big question is, where does Daniel Bryan go from here? Well, starting his now non-wrestling life, he's going to be on ESPN with Jonathan Coachman. There's actually an article on Bleacher Report by Ryan Delbert. I think I pronounced his last name right. I could have been wrong. Um, where he says maybe Daniel Bryan could be an ambassador, a trainer, uh, a general manager, a manager for a wrestler. Like, I certainly see that. Like, a lot of people are saying he should be a trainer. Like, a lot of these young, small guys are still in that mentality of WWE's the land of giants. But Bryan goes there, he'll be able to teach them that it doesn't matter about your size. It's really about your passion and how far you can get to it. And that's certainly something that is really needed so badly. Instead of the whole kiss up system that they have right now on the main roster. But it's really sad. Like, there's a lot of things Dan Bryan can do for WWE even after retiring. And part of me is still hoping for that one more match vibe. Like, I wanted his career to go out fighting Sami Zayn in a underdog versus underdog match because they're both ultimate underdogs in their respective brands. And I really had hoped that would happen, but it looks like we're not going to get that. And while I could wait another 7 years like HBK did, back like what happened to HBK by stroke of luck, and come back to the ring, like a lot of people were like saying like he's really following the weird footsteps of his mentor Shawn Michaels. Like, I thought that was also kind of weird. Like, Shawn Michaels had to retire at the first time due to injury. Now Daniel Bryan has to retire due to injury. And like, part of me was hoping like, is this gonna happen like HBK? He's gonna be injured for a while, do some work with WWE, and then come back like some years later when he's fully cleared to do it again, and he comes back to wrestle, and he goes through the HBK schedule, and like that would be kind of awesome and very surreal. But right now, Daniel Bryan is done. It's sad. It sucks. I don't know what's in store for Daniel Bryan from here on out. Like, he said he wants to have kids with Brie, and Brie has been all about that, apparently, according to him. And I keep saying, and he even talked about his dad, about how his dad saw him for the final time in wrestling, and that was sad, tear jerking moment. Like, why do you have to play with my feelings? Why do the feels, man? Right in the feels. And I just saw Ruby last week after what happened in that episode, and I will not go into that later. And I will go into that later after Volume 3 is finished, but right in the feels, Bryan. Like, right in the feels. And how he met Brie Bella and how they had a moment in the ring after Daniel Bryan was done. Uh, and then the main roster guys came out to celebrate with him, and everyone still complained, saying that, why wasn't Brock Lesnar out there? Like, okay, I get Brock Lesnar coming out there, should have came out and shook hands with Bryan because they never got that match as much as Bryan wanted it and as much as I didn't want it. Like, it still would have been a great respectful moment and said, this what could have been. But Triple H came out, Vince McMahon came out, Kevin Owens came out. Like, when I saw Kevin Owens tweet, yeah, this is real. Like, this, like, a lot of people kept saying, yeah, this is real. Kevin Owens is tweeting about Daniel Bryan. Like, and I'm like, so wait, if he did not tweet about that, you would have said that wouldn't be real? And also, so wait, what does that make Bret the Hitman Hart's cancer issue? So, yeah, and then they all did one final yes, 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 yes. Um, it was a great moment for everybody, and especially happening in his home state. It was a touching, sad, fulfilling moment. Daniel Bryan left basically on his terms, kind of. He pretty much accomplished everything in wrestling. Like, he main evented WrestleMania 30, the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania. He main evented a lot of shows. He put on a lot of great matches. And he worked with the best. Like, we'll never get a chance to see AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor versus Bryan in the ring. on WWE. We'll never get a chance to see that, sadly, but for what I'm worth, I was grateful to see him in the ring. I was grateful. I even went on Twitter and said, no disrespect to RVD, no offense to him, but Daniel Bryan is the true one of a kind. Never before, never again. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. And Daniel Bryan, thank you. Thank you for the memories.